Close your eyes and let the world behind you vanish. We are standing on the edge of a quiet, secluded beach on the western coast. It is that magical hour just before dawn, when the sky is a deep, velvety indigo. The air is cool and carries the heavy, salt-rich scent of the Pacific. Before us lies the greatest body of water on our planet, a vast, breathing giant that covers 1/3 of the entire world. Tonight, we are not just visiting the shore, we are embarking on a journey across its silent, moonlit expanse. Imagine a small, sturdy wooden boat waiting for you. It rocks gently with the incoming tide, its timber creaking softly in a rhythmic, comforting song. Step onto the deck. Feel the subtle shift in balance as the boat welcomes your weight. There are no engines here, no harsh mechanical noises. There is only the wind, the water, and the infinite horizon. As we push away from the sand, the sound of the waves breaking on the shore begins to fade, replaced by the deep, resonant pulse of the open sea. You are safe. You are held by the water. The land is becoming a memory, and the great blue silence is becoming your reality. Take a long, slow breath of the sea air. Let it fill your lungs, cooling your chest, and as you exhale, release the need to be anywhere else. We are moving now, drifting slowly into the heart of the Pacific, where time has no meaning and the rhythm of the waves is the only clock. The boat is now several miles from the coast, and the transition is complete. Look down into the water. In this pre-dawn light, the Pacific is not blue, it is a profound, liquid obsidian. It looks heavy, ancient, and perfectly smooth, broken only by the gentle wake of our hull. The ripples we leave behind spread out in long, elegant curves before being swallowed back into the stillness. The depth beneath us is staggering, miles of cool, dark water, holding the secrets of eons. But here on the surface, everything is peaceful. There is a light mist clinging to the water, a thin, silver veil that blurs the line between the ocean and the sky. It feels as though we are floating in a dream, suspended in a world of soft grays and deep purples. The boat glides forward without effort. The wind is a steady, invisible hand pushing us deeper into the solitude. You can hear the water lapping against the sides of the boat, a soft, repetitive slap-hush sound that synchronizes with your heartbeat. Your body begins to feel heavy, sinking into the cushions on the deck. The motion of the boat is a slow, side-to-side cradle. It is the oldest motion in the world, the same rhythm that has moved the tides for billions of years. There is nothing to see but the mist, and nothing to hear but the ocean's breath. You are drifting farther and farther away from the noise of life, entering the realm of the indigo veil. On the far eastern edge of the world, a thin line of pale gold begins to crack the darkness. The sun is still far below the horizon, but its light is already traveling through the atmosphere, painting the undersides of the high clouds in shades of peach and soft copper. This is the dawn of the open sea, a slow, patient unfolding of light. There are no trees to block the view, no buildings to cast shadows. There is only the curve of the earth. The Pacific begins to change color, shifting from its midnight black to a translucent, sapphire blue. You can see deeper into the water now. Tiny bubbles of air, trapped by the movement of the boat, swirl like galaxies beneath the surface. The mist begins to lift, rising in wisps that dance over the swells before disappearing into the warming air. The ocean is waking up, but it is a quiet awakening. A lone albatross appears, gliding on motionless wings, following the invisible currents of the air. It does not flap, it simply exists in the flow, a silent sentinel of the vastness. Watch its steady flight as it dips toward the water and rises again. Your eyes grow heavy following its path. The light is soft, never harsh, acting like a warm blanket over your shoulders. The world is expanding, yet your focus is narrowing to the simple, beautiful repetition of the waves. One swell rises, one swell falls. One breath in, one breath out. Now, the sun has fully emerged, but it remains low, casting long, shimmering trails of light across the water's surface. The boat has reached a part of the ocean where the swells are long and rhythmic. These are not waves that break or crash, they are the deep, slow breath of the Pacific. Each swell rises slowly, lifting the boat with a gentle, majestic power, and then lowers it back down into a soft valley of blue. It is a hypnotic, undulating motion. Imagine yourself lying back on the deck, looking straight up at the sky. As the boat rises, the horizon disappears, and you see only the endless, pale blue dome of the heavens. As it sinks, the walls of water rise around you, glowing like translucent turquoise glass. This cycle repeats over and over, with a precision that is older than humanity. There is no urgency here. The Pacific does not hurry. It moves with a deliberate, massive grace. Your mind begins to mirror this movement. Your thoughts, once jagged and fast, now become smooth and slow, rising and falling with the water. You are becoming part of the ocean's pulse. The salt air feels thick and nourishing, coating your skin with a fine, cool mist. Every muscle in your legs, your back, and your neck finally lets go, trusting the boat, trusting the water, and trusting the silence. The world is nothing but blue and gold, and the steady, ancient cradle of the deep. By mid-morning, the wind dies down completely. The Pacific transforms into what sailors call a glass desert. The surface of the water becomes so still, so perfectly flat, that it reflects the sky with impossible clarity. It is hard to tell where the ocean ends and the sky begins. The boat seems to be suspended in the center of a vast, blue sphere. In this absolute stillness, the sound of the water against the hull changes. It becomes a delicate, silvery tinkling, like crystal bells. You look over the side and see your own reflection, but you also see through it, deep into the crystalline depths. Thousands of feet below, there are mountain ranges and valleys that have never seen the sun, but here on the surface, everything is light and warmth. The silence is so heavy it feels like a physical presence, a soft, comforting weight on your chest. You can hear the distant, muffled sound of a whale breaching miles away, a low whoosh of air that carries across the flat water like a secret. It is a reminder that you are not alone in this vastness, yet you are perfectly solitary. The stillness invites you to let go of your name, your worries, and your memories. You are simply a witness to the blue. The sun is a gentle warmth on your skin, and the boat is a tiny island of peace in a sea of mirrors. You are drifting in the center of forever. As the afternoon deepens, the bright sapphire of the water begins to darken into a rich, royal cobalt. The sun starts its slow descent toward the western rim of the world, and the glass desert begins to ripple with a new evening breeze. The temperature drops just enough to be refreshing, and the air feels crisp and clean. The shadows on the boat grow long and thin, stretching across the wooden planks like dark fingers. This is the hour of the blue twilight, a time when the ocean feels its most mysterious. The water begins to glow from within. Somewhere far below, bioluminescent creatures are beginning their nightly ascent to the surface, and tiny sparks of green and blue light flicker in the wake of the boat. It is as if the stars are beginning to fall into the sea. The horizon starts to blur again, orange and purple streaks bleeding into the deepening blue of the water. You feel a profound sense of distance. You are now hundreds of miles from the nearest shore, isolated in the purest way possible. But there is no fear, only a deep, settled comfort. The vastness of the Pacific is not empty, it is full of peace. It is a giant cushion for your tired mind. As the first star appears in the sky, mirrored by a spark of light in the water, you feel your eyelids growing heavy. The journey is not over, but the day is fading, and the great, dark night of the ocean is preparing to sing you a deeper song. The sun has now completely vanished, replaced by a profound, velvet darkness. But this darkness is not empty, it is a protective cloak that wraps around the world. As you look up, thousands of miles from the nearest city light, you see the true reward of the deep sea. The Milky Way stretches across the sky like a brilliant cloud of stardust, so bright that its glow casts faint, silver reflections on the surface of the water. The sky and the ocean have merged into a single, infinite void. It feels as though your boat is no longer floating on water, but gliding through the stars themselves. Beneath the hull, another galaxy awakens. Bioluminescent creatures flicker in the wake of the boat, turning the water into a swirl of neon greens and electric blues. It is as if the stars are falling into the sea and dancing around you. In this world of double light, the silence becomes even heavier. The wind has died down to a whisper, leaving only the soft, rhythmic lap of water against the wood, the oldest lullaby in the universe. Your mind begins to dissolve into this vastness. Every star represents a thought, and one by one, those thoughts are dimming, leaving behind a peaceful, radiant hollow. You are safe, you are still, and you are perfectly free in the dark. Just beneath the surface of the boat, far below the reach of the moonlight, a massive and invisible river is flowing, the Great Pacific Currents. These underwater highways span thousands of miles, moving with a steady, unstoppable force that acts as the heartbeat of the planet. Imagine how your boat is being carried effortlessly by this immense body of water. You do not need to row, and you do not need to steer. The ocean itself is taking you exactly where you need to be, into the very heart of rest. This rhythm is as natural as the blood flowing through your veins. Try to hear the faint, echoing hum coming from the depths. This is the inner voice of the ocean. In the valleys far below, the pressure and movement of the water create a low-frequency vibration that sends a wave of relaxation up through the deck and into your spine. You are no longer just a passenger, you are a part of the Pacific's flow. The weight of the water below you is like a giant, liquid cushion, absorbing every shock and every noise from the world above. Your world is now as deep and as quiet as the current itself, a place where no outside sound can ever break the peace. As we approach the deepest hours of the night, the Pacific opens its greatest secret to you, or the Song of the Abyss. This is the realm of the midnight zone, where light never reaches, but where peace is absolute. Imagine your mind slowly sinking through the layers of the sea. With every meter you descend, the noise of the surface world grows fainter. 10 meters, 100 meters, 1,000 meters. Down here, it is perfectly still, perfectly cool, and perfectly silent. Time has no meaning in this darkness that hasn't changed for millions of years. The sound of the water becomes a low, melodic drone, the oldest song on earth. Perhaps it is the distant echo of a whale singing from miles away, or the friction of water moving against ancient underwater mountains. This song takes the final remnants of your tension and carries them away into the void. Your eyelids are now so heavy that keeping them open feels like an impossible task. The vastness of the ocean is not a hole that swallows you, but an infinity that supports you from every direction. Let yourself fall into this song. Feel the immense silence of the seabed rising up to meet you, wrapping your bed in a cocoon of ancient water. You are at the center of the deep. A heavy, unbreakable sleep is settling over you, as still as the bottom of the sea. Imagine our boat drifting slowly toward a hidden atoll, a ring of coral lost in the vastness of the central Pacific. As we move closer, the deep navy of the open sea begins to pale into a luminous, neon turquoise. Beneath the hull, a hidden world of intricate structures begins to appear. These are the coral forests, built grain by grain over thousands of years. They look like frozen flowers of stone, stretching their branches toward the moonlight. The water here is so shallow and clear that the boat feels as though it is floating on air. Listen to the sound of the reef, a delicate, rhythmic clicking and popping as the tiny inhabitants of the coral go about their nocturnal lives. It is a busy, yet peaceful city of silence. The water moves over the reef in a gentle wash, a shhhh sound that repeats with every passing swell. The white sand of the lagoon reflects the starlight, illuminating the water from below. You feel a sense of ancient protection here, as if the reef is a cradle designed to hold you safe from the currents of the deep. Your breathing slows to match the rhythmic wash of the lagoon. Every part of this underwater garden is in perfect harmony, and as you watch the shadows of the palms on the nearby shore, your mind drifts into a state of pure, crystalline stillness. Long before maps and compasses, the ancient voyagers crossed these same waters using only the stars and the feel of the swells. Imagine yourself lying on the deck, feeling the boat's movement not as a random motion, but as a language. A long, low swell from the north tells of a distant storm that passed days ago. A sharp, rhythmic chop from the east speaks of a nearby island chain. You begin to sense the ocean through your skin, feeling the invisible vibrations of the great Pacific currents. The stars above, the Southern Cross, the Navigator's Triangle, are not just points of light, but a roadmap to peace. You realize that you are never truly lost when you are on the water, you are simply part of a larger flow. The wooden planks beneath you vibrate with the energy of the sea, a low-frequency hum that acts like a massage for your weary thoughts. There is a profound wisdom in this ancient way of traveling, a surrender to the elements that brings a quiet clarity to the soul. You don't need to know where we are going. You only need to feel the movement. The boat knows the way, the stars hold the path, and you are free to simply exist in the space between the sky and the sea. Your eyes grow heavier as you trust the ancient wisdom of the voyagers, letting the boat carry you deeper into the dream. The moon has now reached its zenith, and the entire Pacific seems to have turned into a sheet of hammered silver. A light, mist-like rain begins to fall, not a storm, but a gentle silver rain that happens even when the stars are visible. The drops are so fine they feel like a cool silk veil against your face. Watch as each tiny droplet hits the mirror-like surface of the ocean, creating a million tiny, expanding circles that interlock in a hypnotic pattern. The sound is a soft, high-pitched hiss, like the distant sound of static or the rustle of 1,000 silk pages turning at once. It is the most relaxing sound in the world, a natural white noise that masks every other sound and every other thought. The ocean drinks the rain in silence, and you feel yourself drinking in the peace of the moment. The air is cool and smells of ozone and fresh water. As the mist settles over the boat, the world becomes even more blurred, more indistinct. There is no horizon, no up or down, only this shimmering, silver cocoon. You are wrapped in a world of water, water falling from the sky, water holding you from below, and water flowing through your very cells. You are becoming liquid, becoming mist, becoming part of the silver rain. The heavy weight of sleep is no longer a shadow, it is a warm, welcoming presence, inviting you to close your eyes and disappear into the glow. The fine, silver mist from before has now evolved into a gentle, steady rain. This is not the rain of a storm, but the slow, rhythmic weeping of the clouds over the vast Pacific. Each drop is a tiny messenger from the sky, meeting the ocean with a soft, collective sigh. Imagine the sound, a continuous, low-frequency hiss that blankets the world in white noise. It is the sound of 1,000 needles hitting silk. On the wooden deck of the boat, the rain makes a different sound, a hollow, percussive tap-tap-tap that creates a counter-rhythm to the waves. You are tucked away under a heavy canvas sail, listening to this symphony of water. The air is incredibly fresh, washed clean of every speck of dust, smelling only of salt and pure, high-atmosphere rain. You watch as the water beads on the wood, gleaming like pearls in the dim light before sliding back into the sea. The ocean seems to flatten under the weight of the rain, becoming even more still, even more focused. There is a profound sense of enclosure, as if the falling water has created a private room just for you in the middle of the infinite blue. You are shielded, you are hidden, and you are being lulled by the most natural sound on earth. The hiss of the rain is like a gentle hand smoothing out the wrinkles in your mind, leaving everything flat, calm, and ready for a deep, dreamless sleep. As the rain begins to taper off, the clouds part just enough to reveal a sliver of the moon once more. We have now reached the most isolated point of our journey, the point Nemo of the soul. There is no land for 3,000 miles in any direction. Beneath us, the water is 5 miles deep. In this absolute solitude, you feel a strange and beautiful lightness. The world you left behind, the schedules, the voices, the flickering screens, has ceased to exist. In this place, you are not a worker, a student, or a person with a list of tasks. you are simply a consciousness floating on a giant, breathing planet. The boat feels like a small, warm cradle in the palm of a friendly giant. The water is a deep, bruised purple now, looking thick and ancient. You watch a single, phosphorescent jellyfish drift past the hull, a glowing heart in the darkness, moving with a grace that no human could ever replicate. It doesn't struggle, it simply allows the Pacific to move it. You decide to do the same. You let go of the tiller of your mind. You stop trying to steer your thoughts and simply let them drift like the jellyfish. The solitude is not lonely, it is a full, rich presence that keeps you company. The vastness of the ocean is a mirror to the vastness of your own inner peace. You are far away, so very far away, and that distance is the greatest gift you have ever received. Listen closely to the boat itself. A wooden boat is a living thing, especially in the heart of the ocean. It speaks in a language of creaks, groans, and sighs. As a long, slow swell passes beneath us, the timber of the hull flexes ever so slightly. It makes a deep, wooden creaking, the sound of strength and flexibility. It is the sound of a tree that was once in a forest, now finding a new life on the waves. This sound is incredibly grounding. It reminds you of the sturdiness of the vessel that holds you. Between the creaks of the wood, you can hear the water rushing past the rudder, a constant, bubbling, a gurgle hush that sounds like a mountain stream. These sounds are repetitive, never changing their tone or their pace. They create a sonic cocoon that vibrates through your very bones. You feel the vibration of the ocean's movement through the floorboards, a low-frequency hum that acts as a physical sedative. Your body is now so heavy that you feel as though you are melting into the wood of the boat. You are no longer sure where the boat ends and you begin. You are the wood, you are the water, and you are the rhythm. The boat breathes with the sea, and you breathe with the boat. In and out. Rise and fall. The night is at its darkest, and the peace is at its deepest. You are drifting into the final, golden gates of slumber. The rain has completely stopped now, leaving the air heavy and thick with the scent of the deep. But as the clouds thicken once more, something extraordinary begins to happen beneath the surface. The movement of the boat through the still water triggers a chemical symphony. Every ripple, every splash of a wave against the hull ignites a fire of cold, blue light. It is bioluminescence, a living light created by millions of tiny plankton. As the boat glides forward, it leaves a long, glowing trail behind it, like a comet's tail stretching across the dark Pacific. You lean over the side, watching the swirls of neon light as they dance and fade. It looks as if the stars have dissolved into the water and are being stirred by an invisible hand. When a fish darts beneath the boat, it leaves a streak of lightning in its wake. This is the ocean's own internal aurora, a silent light show designed for no one but the moon and the sea. The glow is soft, never bright enough to startle, acting instead like a nightlight for the soul. You watch the rhythmic pulsing of the light, over and over, until your eyes begin to glaze over. The blue light seems to seep into your mind, washing away the last flickers of daytime worry, replacing them with a cool, electric peace. Deep beneath our keel, in the silent corridors of the midwater, we are crossing one of the great ancient highways of the earth. These are the paths of the whales, the great wanderers who have navigated these waters for millions of years. Even though you cannot see them, you can feel their presence. The ocean feels full, heavy with the weight of these gentle giants. Imagine a mother whale and her calf, gliding thousands of feet below us, their massive tails moving in slow, rhythmic strokes that echo the very movement of the tides. Occasionally, a low-frequency moan rises through the water, a sound so deep it is felt in the chest more than heard in the ears. It is a lonely, beautiful sound, a song of belonging in the vastness. These whales are the guardians of the deep, and their presence makes the solitude feel less like emptiness and more like a sanctuary. You realize that you are resting on top of a world of immense grace and ancient wisdom. The water between you and them is a bridge of silence. Knowing that they are there, moving through the dark with perfect confidence, allows you to let go of your own need for control. You are being watched over by the giants of the deep, and you are free to sink into the safety of their world. As we approach the hour before the first hint of dawn, a thick, rolling fog begins to settle over the Pacific. This is not a cold fog, but a warm, damp breath from the ocean's lungs. It swallows the horizon, the stars, and the moon, leaving you in a world that is only as large as the boat itself. The edges of the wood become blurred, and the mast disappears into the grey mist above. In this state of total sensory deprivation, your other senses begin to sharpen. You hear the heartbeat of the ocean more clearly, the glup hush of water entering the hollows of the hull, the soft sigh of the wind as it brushes against the ropes. The fog acts as a giant silencer, dampening every vibration until the world feels like it is made of cotton. You are in a cocoon of grey silk, floating in a void where there is no direction and no time. There is only the here and the now. The dampness on your skin is a gentle reminder of your physical presence, but your spirit feels as light as the mist itself. You are drifting in the ultimate sanctuary, a place where the world can never find you. Your breath becomes as slow and as quiet as the fog, and you finally surrender to the heavy, velvet weight of a sleep that has been waiting for you since the beginning of time. Beneath the tranquil surface of our path lies a landscape more dramatic than any on dry land. We are drifting over the ring of fire, where the Earth's crust is thin and the inner heat of the planet breathes into the sea. Miles below our boat, there are silent, underwater volcanoes, seamounts that rise like dark pyramids from the abyssal plain. Some are so tall they almost reach the surface, while others rest in eternal darkness. Imagine the slow, tectonic dance happening beneath you. These giants do not explode with fire here, they leak molten rock in slow, glowing pillows that are instantly cooled by the crushing weight of the deep ocean. This is the birth of new Earth, happening in total silence and absolute isolation. The heat from these vents creates tiny currents that rise toward us, invisible and gentle. Feel the subtle energy of the Earth's core vibrating through the water, a low-frequency pulse that grounds your soul. You are floating on a foundation of ancient power, supported by the very forces that shape the continents. The knowledge of this deep, hidden fire makes the cool night air above feel even more precious. You are suspended between the fire of the earth and the ice of the stars, held in the perfect, neutral balance of the Pacific. In the deepest hours of the night, the mind often wanders to the stories of those who sailed these waters before us. The Pacific is a graveyard of dreams and a museum of history. Imagine the ghost ships of the past, the ancient outriggers, the majestic galleons, and the lonely research vessels, all reduced to shadows in the mist. Their stories are now part of the salt and the spray. You can almost hear the faint, melodic creak of ghostly ropes and the flutter of spectral sails in the distance. These are not frightening spirits, they are the echoes of human curiosity and resilience. They remind you that you are part of a long lineage of explorers who sought peace in the vastness. Their journeys are over, their anchors are dropped, and their struggles have faded into the eternal calm of the sea. As you think of them, you feel your own burdens becoming lighter. If the ocean could hold all of their histories and still remain this still, it can certainly hold yours. You are invited to drop your own anchor here, in this nameless stretch of water. Let your memory sink slowly, like silver coins through the dark blue layers, until they rest quietly on the soft silt of the ocean floor. You are unburdened. You are empty. You are ready to be filled with nothing but the rhythm of the waves. The deepest black of the night is finally beginning to soften. It is not yet dawn, but the false dusk has passed, and the world is turning a uniform, monochromatic grey. This is the hour of the great stillness. Even the wind seems to hold its breath, waiting for the sun's return. The water has lost its sparkle and now looks like liquid lead, heavy, smooth, and incredibly dense. The horizon is still invisible, but you can sense the world expanding. The fog has thinned into a light haze that clings to the surface of the water like a dream that refuses to end. Your boat is perfectly motionless, caught in a moment of cosmic suspension. This grey light is the most soothing of all colors. It has no edges, no shadows, and no demands. It invites a total surrender of the senses. You can no longer distinguish between the sound of the sea and the sound of your own blood moving through your ears. Everything is one. Everything is grey. Everything is quiet. This is the threshold of deep sleep. You are standing at the door, and the key is the simple, repetitive movement of your chest rising and falling. The ocean is waiting for you to cross over. The grey light is your guide, leading you into the softest, darkest corners of the morning. As the grey light of the pre-dawn lingers, a massive, silent migration is taking place just beneath your boat. This is the great ascent of the zooplankton, the tiny wanderers of the sea who spend their days in the dark depths and their nights near the surface. Millions upon millions of microscopic creatures are drifting upward in a slow, rhythmic dance. They are the foundation of all life in the Pacific, a living soup of energy that moves with the pulse of the moon. Imagine them as tiny, translucent jewels, pulsing with life as they filter the water around them. Their movement is so subtle it creates no sound, yet it changes the very texture of the ocean. The water feels thicker, more alive, as if the sea itself is a single, giant organism waking up from a long slumber. You can feel this life force vibrating through the hull, a gentle, biological hum that resonates with your own cells. You are resting on a bed of living stars, supported by a cycle that has continued unbroken for billions of years. There is no struggle in their journey, only a quiet, instinctual flow. Let your mind mirror this migration. Let your thoughts drift upward and dissolve into the grey light, leaving you light, buoyant, and perfectly at peace with the living world below. Suddenly, The stillness of the leaden water is broken by a soft, metallic shirt sound. A school of flying fish has emerged from the depths, launched by a passing predator or simply by the energy of the coming day. Watch them as they break the surface, their silver wings catching the faint light as they glide for hundreds of feet above the waves. They look like clockwork toys, skimming the surface with impossible grace before splashing back into the blue. The sound of their flight is like the tearing of fine silk, a quick, sharp zip followed by the plip-plip-plips of their tails hitting the water to gain more speed. They are the bridges between the two worlds, the air and the sea, reminding you that even in this vast solitude, there is movement and play. But their play is quiet, a silent ballet performed for an audience of one. As you watch their silver arcs, your eyes follow the curve of their flight, over and over, until the motion becomes a lullaby. Each flight is a brief moment of freedom before returning to the embrace of the deep. You feel your own spirit taking flight in the same way, gliding over the surface of your dreams before settling back down into the warm, heavy blankets of sleep. Finally, the grey veil of the morning begins to tear. On the far eastern edge of the Pacific, a single, thin thread of gold appears on the horizon. It is so faint at first that you might miss it, but it grows with a patient, unstoppable power. This is the moment of the great return. The water at the horizon begins to glow like molten copper, and a long, shimmering path of light starts to stretch across the swells toward your boat. It is a golden bridge, invited to guide you back from the depths of the night. The air begins to stir, a morning breeze that carries the scent of far-off islands and blooming tropical trees. The boat responds to the light, its wooden planks warming and expanding with a series of soft, satisfied creaks. The world is no longer a void, it is a masterpiece of color, shades of apricot, rose, and violet bleeding into the deepening blue of the water. But the peace remains. The morning does not bring noise, it brings a new kind of silence, a bright, hopeful stillness. You watch the sun's first rays hit the crest of a swell, turning the spray into a shower of diamonds. Your journey across the Pacific has brought you to the birth of a new day, and in this light, you feel completely renewed, completely still, and ready to drift into the final, most profound stage of your rest. The sun is now a few degrees above the horizon, and with its warmth comes the arrival of the trade winds, the alizé. These are the most reliable winds on Earth, blowing with a steady, musical consistency from the northeast. Listen to the sound they make as they pass through the rigging of our boat. It is a low, hollow whistle, like someone playing a flute far across the water. The wind doesn't gust or buffet, it flows like a river of air. It brushes against your skin with the texture of cool velvet, carrying the faint, sweet scent of salt and sun-drenched wood. The boat responds by leaning ever so slightly to the side, finding its groove in the water. The sound of the bow cutting through the waves changes to a rhythmic crush-hush, crush-hush. It is a productive, peaceful sound, the sound of progress without effort. You don't need to do anything, the wind and the water have formed a partnership to carry you forward. You are a passenger in a world of perfect mechanics. Feel the steady pressure of the wind against your cheek, and let it blow away the last lingering shadows of your thoughts. You are being breathed by the planet, moving in harmony with the great atmospheric currents of the Pacific. As we glide forward, the ocean floor beneath us suddenly drops away into the unimaginable depths of a Marianas-style trench. Here, the mountains of the sea disappear, replaced by a canyon so deep that Mount Everest could be dropped into it and still be covered by a mile of water. Think of the immense, silent weight of that water. Down there, the pressure is a giant's hand, creating a stillness that is absolute. There are no currents there, no light, and no sound. It is the most quiet place in the universe. Even though you are miles above it, you can feel the gravity of the deep space pulling at your worries. Imagine dropping a small, white stone into the water. Watch it in your mind as it falls, down past the sunlit layers, down past the twilight zone, down into the midnight blue, and finally into the absolute black of the trench. It takes hours for the stone to reach the bottom. As you follow its descent, your own heart rate slows. Your muscles lose their tension, sinking into the deck just as the stone sinks into the silt. The depth is not a threat, it is a foundation. It is a vast, empty space that has room for everything you want to let go of. You are floating on top of the world's greatest secret, held up by the sheer volume of the peaceful deep. On the horizon, a tiny speck of emerald green begins to emerge from the blue. It is an island so small and so remote that it appears on no modern maps. As we drift closer, the scent of the land reaches us, the heavy, intoxicating aroma of damp earth, blooming hibiscus, and crushed coconut. The roar of the open ocean fades, replaced by the gentle thrum of waves breaking on a distant outer reef. Inside the lagoon, the water is as still as a prayer. You can see the white sand of the bottom, patterned with the golden ripples of the sun. The boat glides toward a beach of sand so fine it looks like powdered sugar. There are no footprints here. The only sounds are the rustle of palm fronds in the breeze and the occasional melodic call of a tropical bird. This is your destination, the place where the journey across the Pacific meets the stillness of the earth. We are not going to land, we are simply going to hover here, in the turquoise light of the lagoon. The anchor is lowered, and as it hits the sand with a soft thud, the last of your momentum disappears. You are here. You are still. You are home. The island is a green jewel in a blue world, and you are its only inhabitant. Sleep is the island, and you have finally stepped onto its shore. The sun has reached its highest point in the sky, turning the Pacific into a vast, glowing field of white gold. The heat is not intense, it is a heavy, comforting warmth that feels like a thick wool blanket draped over your body. The wind has softened to a mere sigh, barely enough to ruffle the surface of the lagoon. This is the hour of the great siesta, the time when all of nature seems to take a deep, collective breath and pause. On the deck of the boat, the wood is warm to the touch, releasing the faint, sweet scent of cedar and salt. You find a patch of shade under the white sail and let your limbs grow heavy. There is a profound stillness in the air, a silence so thick you can almost hear the sunlight touching the water. Your thoughts become slow and syrupy, melting into one another until they have no shape. You are not thinking, you are simply being. The rhythmic lap-laps of the water against the side of the boat is the only sound in the world, a repetitive melody that tells you everything is okay, everything is in its place. You are drifting in a golden haze, suspended in a moment that could last for 1,000 years. Close your eyes and let the warmth of the sunderled deck carry you into a dreamless, sun-washed slumber. Suddenly, just beyond the edge of the reef, a massive plume of mist rises into the air, followed by a deep, resonant whoosh. A blue whale, the largest creature to ever exist on this planet, has come to the surface to breathe. It moves with a slow-motion majesty that defies belief. Its back is a long, mottled island of slate blue, glistening in the sun like wet marble. You watch as it rolls through the water, a silent mountain of grace. There is no splash, no hurry, no violence. The whale is the embodiment of the Pacific soul, a massive, ancient, and utterly at peace. As it prepares to dive again, its fluke rises high above the water, a giant, elegant fan that drips with diamonds of seawater before sliding silently back into the blue. The ripples from its movement eventually reach the boat, a series of long, gentle undulations that feel like a greeting from the deep. Knowing that such a vast and peaceful life is moving through the water beside you provides a deep sense of security. You are part of a world that is large enough to hold such giants, and yet quiet enough to hear your own breath. The whale disappears into the depths, leaving behind a trail of smooth, circular footprints on the water. You follow those circles with your eyes until they fade, and as they disappear, so do the last remnants of your wakefulness. At this exact moment, the sun is directly overhead, and the shadows have disappeared. The ocean has become an infinite mirror, reflecting nothing but the pure, unclouded blue of the heavens. It is impossible to tell where the water ends and the sky begins. You are floating in the center of a perfect sapphire sphere. The horizon has vanished into a blur of light. In this world of total blue, the mind loses its grip on reality and begins to float. You feel weightless, as if the boat has detached from the sea and is drifting through the atmosphere. The water is so clear that you can see the shadows of tiny fish flickering over the white sand 30 feet below, looking like birds flying over a desert. The silence is absolute. Even the birds on the island have stopped their singing, huddling in the shade of the palms. This is the peak of the journey, the point of total equilibrium. There is no past, no future, and no distance left to travel. You have reached the center of the Pacific and the center of your own stillness. The blue of the sea and the blue of the sky are washing through you, cleansing every corner of your mind. You are a drop of water in the ocean, a spark of light in the sun. Everything is still. Everything is blue. Everything is at rest. Just beneath the cliffs of our secret island, hidden under the turquoise surface, lies a network of ancient limestone caves. As the tide shifts ever so slightly, the water breathes in and out of these stone cathedrals. Imagine the sound, a deep, muffled thrum hush that vibrates through the water and into the hull of our boat. Inside these caves, the light is filtered through the sea, turning into a shimmering, electric indigo. Schools of tiny, silver-sided fish move in perfect unison, like a single shimmering curtain caught in a draught. There is no wind here, only the slow, rhythmic pulse of the tides. The air inside the half-submerged chambers is cool and carries the echoes of the ocean's heartbeat. You can feel the coolness of the stone in your mind, a sharp contrast to the warm sun on the deck. It is a world of shadows and reflections, where the water carves art out of rock over millions of years. As you listen to the rhythmic breathing of the caves, your own breath begins to slow down, syncing with the ancient pulse of the island. You are sinking into the cool, dark safety of the stone, protected from the world by a barrier of water and time. Looking over the side of the boat, you notice a large piece of driftwood floating nearby. It is a silver-grey branch, smoothed by years of salt and sun, traveling on its own nameless journey across the Pacific. Think of where this wood has been. Perhaps it began in a high mountain forest in the Andes or a tropical jungle in Indonesia. It has survived storms, crossed the equator, and rested in the center of great swirling gyres. Now, it rests here, bobbing gently in the calm of the lagoon. It has no destination, no schedule, and no hurry. It simply goes where the water takes it. There is a great lesson in the driftwood's silence. It does not fight the current, it becomes part of it. You feel your body becoming like that wood, buoyant, weathered, and perfectly relaxed. You are not trying to reach a shore, you are simply enjoying the state of being afloat. The wood rises and falls with the tiny ripples, a constant, repetitive motion that draws your eyes into a heavy, unfocused gaze. You are drifting together, two travelers in a vast blue world, both surrendering to the infinite patience of the Pacific. The sun has begun its long, lazy descent toward the western horizon. The brilliant white light of noon is softening into a warm, liquid amber. The shadows of the palm trees on the island are beginning to stretch across the white sand, reaching out like long, dark fingers toward the water. This is the hour of transition, where the energy of the day begins to fold into itself. The surface of the lagoon is no longer a mirror, it is now a sheet of hammered gold, flickering with a million tiny sparks as the breeze returns. The air is growing heavier, smelling of damp tropical leaves and the cooling sea. You watch the sun as it hangs low in the sky, a giant, glowing orange orb that seems to be melting into the water. The color of the sky is changing from sapphire to a dusty violet, then to a soft, bruised peach. Everything is becoming blurred at the edges. The world is preparing for its nightly rest, and you are right there with it. The warmth of the day is still trapped in the wood of the boat, cradling you as the air begins to cool. The transition is so slow, so gradual, that you can hardly tell it's happening until you realize the first evening star has already appeared, blinking softly in the darkening east. As the shadows of the secret island vanish into the dusk, our boat begins to drift back toward the open sea. The turquoise water of the lagoon fades behind us, darkening once more into a deep, regal navy. The transition is seamless. One moment you are surrounded by the scent of tropical flowers, and the next, you are back in the embrace of the infinite horizon. The waves here are larger, but they are incredibly smooth, long, rolling hills of water that lift the boat with a slow, majestic grace. It feels as though the ocean is welcoming you back into its heart. The island becomes a small, dark silhouette against the purple sky, growing smaller with every heartbeat. There is a profound sense of release in this movement. You are leaving the shore behind, leaving the solid earth and all its complexities. You are returning to the fluid, nameless world of the deep blue. The boat hums as it meets the open swells, a low-frequency vibration that settles deep in your chest. You are no longer bound by gravity or geography. You are a nomad of the stars and the sea, drifting into a darkness that is as vast and as comfortable as a dream. As we pass the outer edge of the reef one last time, the sound of the ocean changes. In the twilight, the reef becomes a different world. The crashing of the waves against the coral has softened into a rhythmic, percussive boom hush. It is the sound of the ocean's drum, beating out a slow tempo for the coming night. Below the surface, the nocturnal creatures are waking up. Imagine the sounds that rise through the hull, the tiny clicks of snapping shrimp, the muffled movement of water through coral tunnels, and the distant, haunting whistle of the wind in the spray. It is a dense, layered symphony of life, yet it feels entirely peaceful. It is the sound of nature performing its ancient rituals without any need for an audience. You are just a guest, listening to the earth breathe. This white noise of the reef is incredibly hypnotic. It fills your ears and drowns out any lingering echoes of your own thoughts. Your mind becomes like the coral, still, ancient, and grounded in the deep. The repetitive nature of the waves hitting the reef creates a sonic loop that pulls you further and further away from the waking world, down into the soft, velvet layers of the night. The stars have now fully claimed the sky. This is the first watch of the night, the hour when the world feels most expectant. The air is crisp and carries the sharp, clean scent of the high seas. You lie back on the deck and watch the mast of the boat as it traces slow, elegant circles against the Milky Way. The motion is like a giant pendulum, ticking away the seconds of eternity. There is no clock here, only the movement of the celestial spheres and the rhythm of the tides. You feel a deep, settled comfort in your soul. You have seen the sun rise and set over the greatest ocean on earth, and you have survived the stillness of the noon. Now, you are ready for the ultimate surrender. The darkness of the Pacific is not a void, it is a presence. It is a warm, liquid embrace that holds you perfectly. The water below is miles deep, but it feels like a solid foundation. You are floating on a cushion of history and silence. As the boat descends into the trough of a long, slow swell, you feel your consciousness dipping with it. The world is fading. The stars are blurring. The journey is continuing, but you are no longer the navigator. You are the dream itself. Sleep is now a vast ocean, and you are finally sinking into its beautiful, silent depths. As the boat moves deeper into the midnight hours, look back at the path we have traveled. The water behind the rudder is no longer dark, it is glowing with a ghostly, ethereal fire. Every movement of the wood through the sea ignites millions of tiny light dwellers, creating a shimmering, phosphorescent wake that stretches toward the horizon like a road of liquid moonlight. It is a soft, cold light, a neon blue that pulses with every ripple. It looks as though we are leaving a trail of fallen stars in our path. Watch the way the light swirls and fades, caught in the gentle eddies of our movement. There is no sound to this light, only a silent radiance that illuminates the deep. It is a reminder that even in the darkest parts of the ocean, there is life and beauty. The repetition of the glowing swirls is hypnotic. Your eyes track the light, following its slow, rhythmic fading until your eyelids feel too heavy to lift. The ocean is painting a masterpiece just for you, a silent dance of light that tells you the night is kind, the water is safe, and the journey is exactly where it needs to be. The steady breeze of the afternoon has softened into what sailors call the ghost of the trade winds. It is a wind so light that it barely moves the heavy sails, yet it carries enough energy to keep us drifting through the silence. It feels like a cool, invisible hand brushing across your forehead, smoothing away the last traces of tension. The sound is no longer a whistle, it is a faint, rhythmic sighing through the ropes, like the breathing of a giant who has fallen into a deep sleep. You can hear the clink-clink out of the metal fittings as they sway with the boat's motion, a delicate, silver sound that punctuates the darkness. The air is filled with the scent of the high atmosphere, a crispness that feels like drinking cold water from a mountain spring. Everything about this wind is gentle. It doesn't push, it coaxes. It doesn't roar, it whispers. You find yourself matching your breath to the rhythm of this ghost wind. In, as the sails fill, out, as they soften. You are being lulled by a force that has traveled thousands of miles just to find you in this quiet corner of the Pacific. We have reached a point where the ocean has become so still it is indistinguishable from the sky. That a midnight mirror has formed. The surface of the Pacific is so flat, so glass-like, that it reflects every single star in the heavens with perfect clarity. When you look over the side, you feel as though you are floating in the center of a cosmic sphere. There is no downer and no up, only the infinite, star-studded void. The boat seems to be suspended in gravity, a small wooden island lost in a sea of diamonds. This is the ultimate stillness. There is not a single ripple to break the reflection. The silence is so profound it has a texture, it feels like heavy, cool velvet draped over your ears. Every heartbeat feels like a rhythmic drum in this silence. You are at the very center of the universe, and the universe is perfectly quiet. The immensity of the space around you is not overwhelming, it is an invitation to let go of your physical self. You are expanding into the stars, dissolving into the mirror, becoming one with the infinite peace of the midnight hour. There is nothing left to do but drift, and nothing left to hear but the silence of the spheres. In the heart of the night, a sudden, soft rain begins to fall from a cloud we cannot see. This is the hidden rain of the open Pacific. There is no thunder, no lightning, and no wind. There is only the sound of millions of tiny, cool droplets meeting the vast, warm surface of the ocean. It creates a sound unlike anything else on Earth, a delicate, high-frequency hum that sounds like the rustling of 1,000 silk veils. On the deck of the boat, the rain makes a gentle patter taps on the wood and the canvas, a rhythmic white noise that instantly clears the mind. The air becomes heavy and sweet with the smell of fresh water and ozone. As you lie there, shielded by the sail, you feel a deep sense of cleansing. The rain is washing away the day, washing away the journey, and leaving only the present moment. Each drop that hits the water creates a tiny, glowing ring of bioluminescence, so the ocean's surface becomes a field of flickering blue sparks. You are surrounded by this cool, liquid music. The sound is so constant and so peaceful that your thoughts begin to fade into the background, replaced by the simple, silver rhythm of the falling rain. Beneath the soothing sound of the rain, you begin to perceive a deeper silence, the echo of the abyss. This isn't a sound you hear with your ears, but a vibration you feel in your soul. We are passing over one of the deepest trenches on the planet, a place where the water is so deep that the pressure creates a profound, heavy stillness. This massive volume of water acts as a giant acoustic chamber, absorbing every vibration from the world above. Imagine the weight of those miles of water beneath you, holding the boat in a steady, unmoving grip. It is a feeling of incredible security. You are supported by the greatest foundation on Earth. The echo is a low-frequency pulse, the slow heartbeat of the tectonic plates moving far below. It vibrates through the hull of the boat and into your body, relaxing every muscle, every nerve, and every cell. Your heartbeat slows down to match the rhythm of the deep. You feel grounded, even though you are afloat. The abyss is not a dark place, it is a place of total, undisturbed rest. You are floating on top of eternity, and eternity is perfectly still. As the rain tapers off, a thick, white mist begins to rise from the surface of the sea. This is the breath of the morning, a heavy fog that forms when the cool air of the night meets the warm water of the current. Within minutes, the stars vanish, and the boat is wrapped in a soft, cotton-like cocoon. You can no longer see the mast or the bow, you are in a world of pure, glowing grey. The mist dampens every sound, turning the lap-laps of the water into a muffled whisper. It feels as though the world has been erased, leaving only you and this small, safe space. The mist is cool against your skin, like a damp silk cloth. In this state of total isolation, there is no more distance to travel. There is no tear ford there. You are simply drifting in a timeless, spaceless void. This is the final gate of the journey. The fog is a blanket for your mind, muffling every lingering thought and every flickering memory. You are safe in the center of the cloud. You are hidden from the world. You are ready. The grey light is the color of deep, restorative sleep, and you are finally surrendering to its heavy, beautiful weight. Within the silence of the morning mist, if you listen with your heart, you can hear the song of the deep currents. These are the great planetary rivers, the North Pacific Drift and the Kuroshio, moving millions of tons of water in a slow, silent procession. They carry the warmth of the tropics and the icy freshness of the poles, mixing the world's energies in a never-ending cycle. Beneath our boat, this massive movement of water creates a subtle, resonant frequency. It is a sound so low it is almost a feeling, a deep, rhythmic thrumming that echoes the vibration of the earth itself. It is a song of belonging. It tells you that you are part of a system that never stops, a cycle that is as reliable as the spinning of the stars. The boat is being carried by this ancient power, moving without effort, guided by the very hand of nature. You feel this strength beneath you, a solid and unwavering support that allows you to let go of the need to hold on. You are not drifting, you are being carried. You are not lost, you are in the flow. Let the song of the currents vibrate through your body, loosening the last bits of tension in your shoulders and your jaw, until you are as fluid as the water itself. High above the thick blanket of mist, the sky is beginning to change. The deep, heavy black of midnight is slowly being infused with a soft, ethereal lavender. It is a color that exists only in the moments before the light truly arrives, a blend of shadow and the promise of a new day. This lavender light filters down through the fog, turning the air around you into a glowing, violet-tinted cocoon. The water reflects this hue, appearing like liquid amethyst, smooth and impossibly deep. Everything is soft. There are no harsh lines, no sharp edges, and no shadows. The world is a painting made of smoke and silk. You watch as a single, stray beam of light hits a dewdrop on the wooden railing, turning it into a tiny, violet diamond. This is the quietest hour of all. The animals of the night have gone to sleep, and the creatures of the day have not yet stirred. It is a holy pause in the life of the Pacific. You find yourself caught in this pause, floating in the lavender glow, feeling a sense of peace that is so profound it feels like a physical weight. The dawn is coming, but there is no hurry. The light is as patient as the ocean, and so are you. We have reached the point of ultimate stillness. The wind has vanished entirely, leaving the surface of the Pacific so flat that not a single ripple disturbs the lavender reflection. The boat is perfectly motionless, suspended in the center of a silent world. In this absolute quiet, you can hear the sound of your own existence, the steady, rhythmic beat of your heart and the soft, oceanic hiss of your breath. It is the only music you need. You realize that the journey across the Pacific was not a journey across water, but a journey into this very stillness. Every mile traveled, every star watched, and every wave felt was a step toward this internal silence. You are now at the center of your own being, as vast and as quiet as the ocean itself. The world of noise, of technology, and of worry is millions of miles away, on a different planet entirely. Here, there is only the lavender light, the silver mist, and the infinite, supporting deep. You are ready to close the final door. The Pacific is holding you in its palm, a gentle giant watching over your rest. As the lavender light begins to fade into a soft, golden gray, you finally let go, sinking into the deepest, most restorative sleep you have ever known. As the lavender light slowly sharpens into a clear, pale gray, the silence is joined by a new, distant sound. It is the high-pitched, melodic cry of a wandering albatross. You look up to see the great bird circling high above, its wingspan nearly 11 feet wide, catching the first invisible thermals of the morning. These birds spend years at sea without ever touching land, sleeping on the wing and drinking the salt spray. They are the true nomads of the Pacific. Watch the effortless way it glides, no flapping, no struggle, just a perfect alignment with the currents of the air. It is a lesson in economy of movement. The bird's presence doesn't break the peace, it enhances it. It reminds you that even in this vast, blue isolation, you are connected to the living world. The albatross dips its wing, tracing a long, elegant arc over your boat before disappearing back into the morning mist. Its departure leaves the silence feeling even more profound, like the ringing after a bell has been struck. You follow the path it took with your eyes, your gaze becoming unfocused and soft, until the gray sky and the gray sea blend into a single, seamless blanket of calm. The sun is now preparing to break the horizon for the second time in our journey. But this morning is different. The water is so still that the surface has become a perfect, undistorted mirror. As the first sliver of the sun appears, it doesn't just rise in the sky, it rises in the sea simultaneously. There are now two suns, one reaching up into the heavens and one reaching down into the depths. The entire world is split by a horizontal line of liquid fire. The light is a deep, heavy orange, like molten copper, and it spreads across the water in a widening path of gold. Your boat is positioned exactly in the center of this golden road. The warmth begins to touch the wood of the deck again, and you can smell the salt drying on the planks, a clean, bracing scent that speaks of eternity. The light doesn't feel bright, it feels heavy and nourishing, like a warm liquid being poured over the world. You feel your own energy rising with the light, but it is a calm energy, a steady glow that centers your mind. You are the bridge between the two suns, the witness to the moment where the sky and the sea become one and the same. With the sun now fully visible, the horizon line seems to stretch out to infinity. In the middle of the Pacific, there are no mountains to block the view, no islands to catch the eye, only the perfect curve of the earth. You realize that this horizon is not a boundary, but an invitation. It represents the endless possibilities of stillness. You look out at the blue-on-blue world and feel a sense of scale that is both humbling and deeply comforting. In the face of such vastness, your personal worries and the small noises of your life seem to evaporate like the morning mist. They are simply too small to exist in this space. You are left with a clear, open mind, as vast and as quiet as the horizon itself. The boat continues its slow, rhythmic rocking, a gentle sway hush that feels like the ticking of a cosmic clock. You are in no hurry to go anywhere. There is nowhere else to be. The horizon is always there, and you are always here, at the center of the peace. As the warmth of the new day settles into your bones, you feel a final, deep wave of relaxation wash over you, carrying you into the softest, most radiant corners of a dreamless sleep. Close your eyes for a moment and listen not to the air, but to the water. The Pacific is not silent, it is a world of echoes and deep-frequency vibrations. If you were to lower your head just beneath the surface, you would hear the true language of the planet. It is a dense, humming sound, the collective movement of billions of tons of water. You can hear the distant, low-frequency boom of waves hitting a continent 5,000 miles away. You can hear the rhythmic clicking of sea life, a sound like 1,000 tiny wooden instruments playing in unison. This is the acoustic deep, a sonic environment that has remained unchanged for millions of years. It is incredibly grounding to realize that this sound has been playing since the dawn of time. As you lie on the deck, you can feel these vibrations through the hull of the boat. It is a gentle, subsonic massage that reaches deep into your muscles and joints. Every tension in your body is vibrated away by the steady, ancient pulse of the sea. You are being harmonized by the ocean, tuned to the frequency of the earth itself. Your mind stops trying to process words and begins to process only this rhythm, falling into a state of pure, sonorous relaxation. Even though we have drifted back into the open sea, the memory of the coral reefs remains in the water. Every few hundred miles, hidden beneath the waves, lie submerged seamounts, mountains that almost reach the surface. Around these peaks, the night music begins. It is a symphony of biological sounds. Imagine the delicate crunch of parrotfish grazing on coral, the rhythmic pulsing of jellyfish as they move through the currents, and the soft, whistling sigh of the water as it flows through underwater canyons. This music is repetitive and predictable, acting as a natural metronome for your thoughts. You find yourself counting the pulses of the ocean's breath, 1, 2, 3. The rhythm is so slow and so steady that it acts like a powerful sedative. Your brain waves begin to slow down, matching the frequency of the reef's nocturnal song. The world of logic and planning is replaced by a world of texture and sound. You are a listener in a grand, underwater theater, and the performance is a never-ending lullaby designed to carry you into the deepest reaches of the night. Look over the side of the boat once more as the darkness deepens. Tonight, the bioluminescence is so intense that it feels as though the stars are falling from the sky and dissolving into the waves. Every time a small fish leaps or a wave breaks, a shower of electric blue sparks erupts in the water. This is the underwater starfall. It is a silent explosion of light that occurs in the coldest, deepest parts of the night. You watch as these sparks drift slowly downward, glowing for several seconds before vanishing into the obsidian depths. It is a visual representation of how your thoughts should be, bright for a moment, then slowly sinking, fading, and disappearing into the peace of the subconscious. The water is a liquid galaxy, and you are floating right in the center of it. The repetition of the light, the way it flickers and dies, is mesmerizing. Your eyes grow tired of tracking the sparks, and you feel a warm, heavy veil being drawn over your vision. The light of the sea and the light of the stars become one, a single, glowing embrace that tells you it is finally time to let go of the world of sight and enter the world of dreams. As the boat settles into the middle of the second night, you begin to feel the true weight of the deep blue. This isn't a heavy or oppressive weight, it is the comforting pressure of a vast, supportive presence. Imagine the miles of water beneath your bed as a giant, liquid cushion that absorbs every vibration from the outside world. This massive volume of water acts as a protective shield, separating you from the noise of civilization, the friction of life, and the static of the air. You are floating on the most stable foundation on Earth. Feel the way the boat sits deep in the water, held firmly yet gently by the density of the salt sea. This weight is a physical manifestation of peace. It encourages your muscles to surrender their grip, inviting your bones to feel heavy and your skin to feel cool. You are being cradled by a giant that has no ego, no hurry, and no demands. The deep blue is not just a color, it is a state of being, a profound, silent density that wraps around your consciousness and anchors you in the present moment. You are sinking into the comfort of this weight, letting it press the last remnants of wakefulness out of your mind. We are now crossing the ancient salt paths, the invisible tracks left by the evaporation and movement of the sea over millions of years. The salt in this part of the Pacific is dense and rich, making the water feel almost like silk against the hull. This salt is the memory of the earth, carrying minerals from mountains that disappeared eons ago. As the spray dries on the wooden railing, it leaves behind a fine, white crystal dust that sparkles in the starlight. Think of the timelessness of these minerals. They have been part of the ocean since the beginning, and now they are part of your journey. The air you breathe is saturated with this ancient salt, cleaning your lungs and calming your nervous system. There is a primal connection between the salt in your own blood and the salt in the sea around you. You are not a stranger here, you are a child of the ocean returning to the source. The rhythm of the waves is the rhythm of your own heart. The taste of the air is the taste of home. Every breath you take connects you more deeply to the water, dissolving the boundaries between your body and the vast, salty expanse of the Pacific. Deep below, in the plains of the abyssal zone where the pressure is immense and the temperature is a constant, perfect cold, live the silent guardians of the sea. These are the ancient glass sponges and the slow-moving creatures of the dark who live for hundreds of years. They exist in a world of absolute stillness, where a single grain of sand takes a week to fall a few meters. Imagine their world, a place of eternal, undisturbed peace. Their existence is a meditation in itself. Even though they are miles below you, their stillness radiates upward, through the layers of the ocean, reaching the surface like a silent prayer. You can feel this upward peace affecting the motion of the boat. The water feels calmer, the swells feel more deliberate. You are being watched over by a world that knows nothing of the sun, nothing of the wind, and nothing of the hurry of humanity. These guardians are the anchors of the planet's soul. By thinking of them, you align your own spirit with their eternal patience. You are safe. You are held. You are part of a world that is protected by a silence so deep it can never be broken. Listen to the wood of the boat as the night deepens. Every plank has its own voice, a soft, wooden groan that speaks of strength and flexibility. The timber was once a tree in a vast, quiet forest, and now it has found its second life on the waves. There is a deep comfort in the sound of the working wood, the creaking of the mast, the soft thud of the rudder, the rhythmic sigh of the deck boards. These sounds are organic and honest. They tell you that the vessel is breathing with the ocean, moving with the water rather than fighting against it. The wood is warm, holding the memory of the afternoon sun, and as you press your hand against it, you can feel the pulse of the Pacific moving through the grain. It is a living connection. The boat is your protector, a sturdy wooden shell that keeps you dry and safe in the heart of the infinity. The repetition of these wooden sounds creates a sonic cocoon, a familiar and predictable melody that lulls your brain into a state of total security. You are the heart of the boat, and the boat is the heart of the sea. In this state of deep relaxation, your memories begin to drift past like the patches of sea foam on the water. They are not sharp or demanding, they are soft, blurred, and tinted with a gentle lavender haze. You see scenes from your life as if they were happening to someone else, or as if they were part of an old, beautiful movie. A childhood summer, a quiet conversation, the scent of rain on a distant street, these memories float by, but you don't reach out to grab them. You simply watch them go. The Pacific has a way of washing the edges off of even the most difficult thoughts, turning them into smooth, round pebbles of experience. Everything that seemed important an hour ago now seems small and distant, lost in the vastness of the horizon. You are being decluttered. Your mind is being swept clean by the salt wind and the rhythmic tide. The lavender haze grows thicker, obscuring the details until only the feeling of peace remains. You are losing the story of your life and entering the being of your life. You are a clean slate, a quiet room, a still lake in the middle of a great ocean. Look up at the stars one last time before you close your eyes for good. They have shifted their positions, rotating slowly around the North Star and the Southern Cross. This is the movement of the celestial clock, a timepiece that doesn't measure minutes, but eons. The universe is turning, and you are turning with it. There is a profound sense of rightness in this motion. You don't need to keep time anymore, the stars are doing it for you. The movement is so slow it is almost imperceptible, yet it is the most powerful force in existence. The boat's mast points like a finger toward different constellations, Orion, the Pleiades, the Great Bear, marking the progress of the night. This cosmic rhythm is the ultimate lullaby. It reminds you that you are part of a massive, orderly, and beautiful system. There is no chaos here, only the grand, slow dance of the spheres. Your own breathing begins to slow down, matching the rotation of the stars. You are falling into sync with the universe. The night is a vast, dark gear turning you toward the morning, and you are perfectly content to be moved. The wind has now dropped to zero. The Pacific has become a liquid mirror, a surface so perfectly flat that the stars are reflected with absolute, needle-sharp precision. It is impossible to tell where the hull ends and the water begins. You are floating in the center of a black diamond, surrounded by light on all sides. When you move your hand over the side, the ripples you create are the only movement in the entire world. They spread out in perfect, glowing circles, traveling for miles across the stillness. This is the quiet of the core, the moment when the ocean and the sky have reached a total, unmoving equilibrium. The silence is so heavy it feels like a physical blanket. You can hear the sound of a single drop of dew falling from the sail and hitting the water, a tiny plink that echoes like a bell. In this world of mirrors, your ego disappears. You are no longer an observer, you are the reflection itself. You are the stars, you are the water, and you are the stillness. Everything is one. Everything is silent. Everything is at rest. Far beneath the mirror-like surface, the ocean is breathing. Not with lungs, but with the slow, massive rise and fall of the deep-sea swells. These are the bells of the deep, low-frequency waves that have traveled across the entire planet without ever breaking. They move through the water like a slow-motion shiver. As one of these swells passes beneath the boat, you feel a slow, majestic lift, a rise so gradual it takes a full minute, and then an equally slow, graceful descent. It is the most relaxing motion a human can experience. It is the movement of the cradle, the movement of the womb. You feel your internal organs settling, your pulse slowing, and your brain waves shifting into the long, slow patterns of deep sleep. This is the breath of the abyss, the ocean's way of singing you to sleep. It is a power so immense that it makes all human effort seem like tiny ripples. You surrender to this power. You let the abyss breathe for you. You are a passenger on the back of a sleeping god, and the god's dreams are your dreams. A thick, white fog is beginning to roll in again, but this time it is different. It is warmer, softer, and more opaque. It is the final gate. As it wraps around the boat, the last traces of the stars disappear. The world is now a small, white, glowing room of mist. There is no horizon, no sky, and no sea, only the soft, damp embrace of the fog. It muffles the sound of the water against the hull until it is nothing more than a heartbeat. It smells of purity and silence. Within this white cocoon, you are completely hidden from the world. No one can find you here. No responsibilities can reach you. No memories can disturb you. You are in the space between worlds, the transition zone where the waking mind finally lets go and the dreaming mind takes over. The fog is a bridge of silk. You are walking across it now, leaving the boat and the ocean behind, and entering the vast, quiet landscape of your own inner peace. The white light of the fog is fading into a soft, deep grey. This is the end of the journey. This is the beginning of the dream. You are safe. You are loved. You are asleep. Within the grey stillness of the fog, you begin to perceive a silver pulse. It is the light of the moon, filtered through miles of mist and water, creating a soft, rhythmic glowing that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. This silver light is the color of peace. It doesn't illuminate things, it softens them. You see the railing of the boat, the curve of the sail, and the outline of your own hands, all turned into silver shadows. The world has lost its substance and become a dream made of light. This silver pulse matches the rhythm of the tides, a slow brightening and dimming that acts as a visual lullaby. You find your eyes closing in sync with this light. Your body feels as though it is made of the same silver mist, light and weightless, yet grounded by the deep wisdom of the sea. There is no more me and it, there is only the silver pulse, the grey fog, and the infinite, supporting water. You are drifting further and further away from the shore of consciousness, moving into the deep, silver heart of the night. As we drift, we pass over a chain of sunken mountains, ancient peaks that were once high above the waves, now resting in the eternal twilight of the deep sea. These mountains carry the history of the earth in their stone. Imagine the silence of their valleys, the stillness of their cliffs where no wind ever blows and no sun ever shines. This mountain silence is a different kind of quiet. It is heavy, ancient, and immovable. It radiates upward through the water, a solid pillar of peace that anchors the boat. You feel the presence of these stone giants beneath you. They are the elders of the world, and they are watching over your sleep. Their strength is your strength. Their stillness is your stillness. You don't need to be active, you don't need to be doing anything. You can simply be, like a mountain under the sea. The weight of the world's history is supporting you, allowing you to let go of the tiny weight of your own day. You are resting on the peaks of the past, looking up at the stars of the future, and floating in the perfect present. The movement of the water around the hull has become a complex, beautiful weaving of sounds. There is the hiss of the foam, the gurgle of the wake, and the chiclucks of the small ripples hitting the rudder. Together, they create a tapestry of white noise that is perfectly woven to catch and hold your attention. It is like the sound of a loom, weaving a blanket of sleep. You follow one thread of sound, the high-pitched hiss, and then another, the deep, resonant gurgle. Your mind becomes entangled in this liquid tapestry, losing its ability to form words or logic. You are being wrapped in a blanket made of water and sound. It is a warm, heavy, and infinitely soft blanket. The weaving never stops, it just changes its pattern slightly as the boat moves through different currents. This constant, gentle change is what makes it so hypnotic. It is never boring, but it is never startling. It is the perfect background for the disappearance of the self. You are being woven into the ocean, one sound at a time, until you are nothing but a single thread in the great, blue fabric of the Pacific. Imagine that the soft rain from earlier has returned, but now each drop carries a spark of the ocean's living light. As the droplets hit the surface, they don't just splash, they ignite. The sea becomes a field of cold, blue fire, flickering with every touch of the sky. This bioluminescent rain creates a visual symphony that defies logic. You are watching the sky and the sea exchange light, a dialogue of silver and neon blue. The sound is a delicate, metallic tick-tick against the water, like glass beads falling onto silk. You reach out a hand into the darkness, and even the air feels charged with this peaceful, glowing energy. This light doesn't wake you up, it draws you deeper into the trance. It is the light of dreams, the light that exists behind your eyelids just before you fall away. The world is no longer made of solid matter, it is made of light, sound, and water. You are a witness to a miracle of nature, and the miracle is whispering to you that it is time to rest, time to fade, and time to become part of the glow. From the vast, echoing chambers of the deep, a sound rises that is older than human language. It is the song of a blue whale, traveling hundreds of miles through the dense, conductive water. It is a series of low-frequency moans and clicks, a rhythmic vibration that you feel in your very marrow. This is the heartbeat of the Pacific. The song is slow, deliberate, and filled with a profound, ancient loneliness that is also a form of absolute belonging. It tells the story of the migrations, the deep dives, and the silent centuries. As you listen to the resonance through the floorboards of the boat, your own breathing slows to match the whale's pace. One long, deep breath every minute. You are entering the time scale of the giants. In this expanded state of time, your worries disappear. A human life is but a single note in the whale song. You feel a sense of immense relief in your own smallness. You are protected by the presence of these great, gentle thinkers of the deep. Their song is a protective circle around your boat, a barrier that no stress can cross. The horizon has lost its sharp edge and become a velvet horizon, a soft, blurred transition where the ink-blue water meets the charcoal-grey sky. There is no longer a line between the earth and the heavens. You are floating in a seamless void, a space without corners or boundaries. This lack of visual definition is the ultimate gift for a tired mind. Your eyes no longer have anything to focus on, nothing to track, and nothing to analyze. They begin to roll back gently, surrendering to the darkness. The boat feels as though it is no longer moving forward, but simply hovering in the center of the universe. The air is still, the water is smooth, and the silence is absolute. This is the state of total sensory equilibrium. You are weightless. You are nameless. You are the velvet darkness itself. The world has finished its work for the day, and so have you. The horizon is not a limit, it is an embrace, pulling you into the soft, dark center of the great Pacific night. A very faint breeze begins to stir, but it carries no chill. It is the ghost of the trade winds, a warm, dry breath from the distant equator. It moves through the rigging with a sound like a distant choir, a low, melodic humming that changes pitch as the boat sways. This wind carries the faint scent of dried salt and ancient wood. It is a steady, predictable force that feels like a hand on your shoulder, guiding you home. You watch the way the shadows of the ropes dance on the deck in the starlight, a rhythmic, repetitive motion that acts as a visual metronome. Every sway of the boat is a page turning in the book of the night. You are moving through the chapters of relaxation, and the wind is the one turning the pages. You don't need to read, you only need to listen. The wind is telling you that the journey is almost over, that the shore of sleep is just ahead, and that you are perfectly safe in the arms of the air. Let the humming of the rigging fill your head until there is no room for thoughts, only the song of the wind. Think now of the color of the water beneath you. It is no longer black, but at a sapphire depth, a blue so dark and so rich that it feels like a physical substance. This blue is the color of the subconscious. It is the color of the deep, dreamless state where the mind repairs itself. Imagine yourself slowly sinking into this color, not as a weight, but as a feather drifting down through a cloud. The pressure of the water is a gentle, full-body hug, a cocoon of sapphire light. As you descend in your mind, the sounds of the surface, the wind, the splashes, the creaks, grow fainter and fainter. Down here, in the sapphire heart of the sea, there is only a rhythmic, pulsing silence. It is the sound of the planet's internal clock. You are moving toward the source of all rest. The blue light is cool and soothing, washing over your eyes and behind your temples, extinguishing the last flickers of mental activity. You are becoming the blue. You are the sapphire deep. Listen to the rudder as it moves slightly in the current. It makes a soft, rhythmic cluck-hush sound, a wooden heartbeat at the back of the boat. This sound is a reminder that the boat knows its way. Even without a navigator, the vessel is aligned with the flow of the Pacific. It is the sound of surrender. You realize that you have spent so much of your life trying to steer, trying to control the direction of your days, but here, in the middle of the ocean, you can finally let go of the tiller. The rudder will move as the water moves. The boat will go where the current takes it. There is a magnificent freedom in this realization. You are a passenger on a journey you don't have to manage. The cluck-hush of the wood is a lullaby of trust. With every beat of the rudder, you feel a layer of responsibility falling away from your heart. You are as free as the water, as unburdened as the air, and as still as the wood. The boat is in control. The ocean is in control. You are free to sleep. The moon has risen to its highest point, casting its silver path across the water that leads directly to the edge of the world. This path is made of 1 billion shimmering diamonds, each one a reflection of the lunar light on a tiny ripple. As the boat glides along the edge of this path, you feel as though you are traveling on a road of pure light. The silver light is cool and ethereal, lacking the heat and demand of the sun. It is a light that invites reflection and quietude. You watch the way the silver sparkles move in and out of focus, a hypnotic dance of light and shadow. Your mind begins to follow the path, drifting further and further away from the physical boat. You are traveling toward the horizon, toward the place where the silver meets the sky. This path is the way into the dreaming world. It is a bridge built of moonlight and salt. You are walking across it now, your steps silent and light, leaving the waking world behind. The silver is becoming a blur, a soft glow that fills your entire vision, leading you into the final, golden gates of slumber. We are now moving over the great swells, the long, low-frequency waves that have traveled all the way from the Antarctic. These waves are so long that the boat takes a full minute to rise to the crest and another minute to slide into the trough. This is the most fundamental rhythm of the earth. It is the rhythm of a mother's breathing, the rhythm of the seasons, the rhythm of life itself. As you rise, you feel a sense of lightness, a brief moment of suspension at the top of the world. As you descend, you feel a deep, grounding weight, as if the ocean is pulling you into a warm, liquid embrace. This motion is a powerful sedative for the nervous system. It bypasses the logical brain and speaks directly to the ancient, instinctive parts of your soul. You are a child in a cradle. The Pacific is the hand that rocks you. There is no fear, no resistance, and no hurry. There is only the rise and the fall, the rise and the fall. You are sinking into the heart of the swell, and the heart of the swell is a place of infinite peace. A final, thick fog has settled over the boat, but this is the fog of forgetting. It is a mist that doesn't just block the sight, but softens the memory. Within this fog, the names of things begin to disappear. The word for boat, the word for ocean, the word for yesterday, they all dissolve into the white, damp air. You are left in a state of pure, wordless existence. It is a beautiful and rare simplicity. You are just a pulse, a breath, and a feeling of warmth. The fog is a heavy, wet blanket that dampens every sound, turning the entire universe into a quiet, padded room. You are safe in this silence. The world cannot reach you, and you cannot reach the world. There is only the now, and the now is a soft, grey, and perfectly comfortable space. You are drifting in the center of the cloud, and the cloud is moving into the darkness of the deep night. This is the end of the narrative. This is the start of the deep. The fog is closing in, the light is fading, and the ocean is silent. Sleep now. Sleep. Sleep. Deep beneath the floor of our current path, the earth is alive with a silent, hidden fire. We are passing over a chain of submarine volcanoes, giants that sleep in the absolute dark of the abyss. Imagine the slow, tectonic pulse radiating from the planet's core, moving through miles of cold water to reach the hull of our boat. This is the deep warmth. It isn't a heat you feel on your skin, but a resonance you feel in your soul. It is the vibration of creation itself. Down there, molten rock meets the freezing sea in a slow, rhythmic dance of steam and stone, creating new land in total silence. This process is so slow, so patient, that it makes our human lives feel like a single heartbeat. As you float above this ancient forge, you feel a sense of profound stability. You are anchored to the very center of the earth. The power of the volcanoes is contained, quiet, and peaceful. It provides a warm, invisible foundation for your rest. You are resting on the heartbeat of the world, and that heartbeat is slow, steady, and eternal. In the twilight of the deep water, where the sun's rays barely reach, there exists the coral ghost. These are the ancient, white-bleached reefs of the deep, structures that have stood for 10,000 years in the stillness. They look like frozen lightning or delicate lace made of bone. As the boat drifts over them, the water takes on a strange, luminous quality, a pale, milky blue that reflects nothing and absorbs everything. The silence here is different. It is the silence of a cathedral. You can imagine the thousands of tiny lives that built these towers, each one contributing a single grain of calcium to the monument. It is a reminder of the power of small, repetitive actions. Your own breath is like those grains of sand, each one building a tower of relaxation, each one bringing you closer to the peak of sleep. The coral ghost is a silent witness to the passage of time. It doesn't struggle against the currents, it simply stands, beautiful and still. You decide to match its stillness. You become a monument of peace, standing tall in the center of the deep, while the world flows around you like a dream. The mist has turned into a fine, microscopic drizzle, but it is not ordinary water. Each droplet is infused with the bioluminescence of the upper sea. As it falls, it creates a phosphorescent rain, a veil of falling light that wraps the boat in a glowing, neon shroud. It is as if the stars are melting and dripping from the sky. The light is a soft, electric violet, flickering with every touch. You watch as the glow settles on the wood of the deck, lingering for a moment like liquid diamonds before fading back into the dark. The sound is a rhythmic, silver hush hush hush, a sound so delicate it feels like a thought. This rain is washing away the last of the day's dust, leaving your mind clean, clear, and ready for the dreaming hours. You are breathing in this light, feeling it fill your lungs with a cool, violet peace. The world is no longer solid, it is made of light and shadow, water and air. You are dissolving into the rain, becoming a spark in the dark, drifting down toward the soft, velvet floor of the night. The wind has returned, but it is only an echo, a memory of the great trade winds that push the world's weather. It carries the scent of far-off spice islands and sun-baked earth, even though no land is in sight. This wind moves through the rigging with a sound like a distant, humming choir. It is a series of low, harmonic notes that change as the boat leans into the swells. This is the music of the spheres, translated into the language of ropes and wood. You find yourself listening for the hidden melodies in the hum, the overtones of the ocean. Each note is a signal to your nervous system to let go, to relax, and to surrender. The wind is a steady, predictable friend. It doesn't gust or startle, it simply flows. You feel it brushing against your hair, a gentle, invisible hand that carries away the remnants of your internal dialogue. The wind is thinking for you now. It is breathing for you. It is singing the song of the Pacific, and the song is a simple, repetitive promise: you are safe, you are still, you are home. We have entered the midnight current, a deep, powerful stream of water that moves with a singular purpose toward the west. This current is the ocean's highway, a river within the sea that carries its own temperature and its own rhythm. The boat has found the center of this stream, and suddenly, all friction disappears. We are no longer moving through the water, we are moving with the water. The sound of the bow wave changes to a deep, resonant thrum, a sound of perfect alignment. This is the feeling of being in the flow state. When you align yourself with the great forces of nature, all struggle ends. You feel this in your own body. You stop fighting the bed, stop fighting the silence, and stop fighting the night. You simply allow yourself to be carried by the midnight current. It is taking you exactly where you need to go, into the heart of a deep, restorative slumber. The current is ancient, wise, and unstoppable. Trust in its movement. Let it pull you away from the shores of wakefulness and into the vast, open sea of the unconscious. The moon has reached its zenith, and the horizon has turned into a glass horizon. The water is so still and the air so clear that you cannot tell where the ocean ends and the sky begins. The stars are reflected in the water with such perfect clarity that it feels as though you are floating in the center of a giant, crystal sphere. There is no up and there is no down. You are suspended in gravity, a small spark of consciousness in an infinite field of light. This visual infinity is a powerful tool for the mind. It breaks the boundaries of your physical self. You feel your body expanding to fill the sphere, your thoughts becoming as distant and as bright as the stars. The silence of the glass horizon is absolute. Even the sound of the water has faded into a rhythmic, subsonic pulse. You are a passenger in a vessel of light, traveling through a world made of mirrors and memory. The stillness is a heavy, beautiful weight, pressing you down into the soft, velvet cushions of the night. Everything is one. Everything is light. Everything is still. In the distance, just at the edge of the moonlight, a great blue whale breaks the surface. It doesn't splash, it simply emerges like a rising island. You hear the whale's breath, a deep, resonant whoosh that echoes across the flat water like the sound of a giant bellows. It is the most peaceful sound in the world. It is the sound of life in its most massive and gentle form. The whale is the guardian of the deep, a creature that has navigated these waters for 100 years. Its presence provides a sense of immense security. As the whale exhales, a fine mist of seawater hangs in the air, catching the moonlight and turning into a rainbow of silver and grey. The whale takes a deep, slow breath, and you find yourself matching its rhythm. One long inhalation. One long exhalation. You are breathing with the giants now. You are part of the ancient cycle of the sea. The whale slides back beneath the surface, leaving behind a series of smooth, circular ripples, the footprints of the deep. You watch those circles widen and fade, and as they disappear, so does the last of your connection to the waking world. Think of the salt in the water around you. It is the same salt that is in your blood, in your tears, and in the very cells of your body. This ancient salt is the connector between you and the Pacific. You are not a visitor here, you are a part of this chemical symphony. As the spray dries on your skin, it leaves a fine, invisible crystalline layer that feels like a protective armor of peace. The scent of the salt is clean, sharp, and timeless. It is the scent of the earth's beginning. It clears your mind of the clutter of the city, the smell of exhaust, and the static of the modern world. You are being purified by the brine. The salt is a preservative. It preserves this moment of stillness, keeping it fresh and eternal. You feel your muscles becoming as heavy as the salted water, sinking into the wood of the boat. You are becoming a mineral, a stone, a part of the reef. The salt is a bridge between the living and the eternal. Cross that bridge now. Let the salt carry you into the deep, quiet mines of sleep. The moon is the master of the clock of the tides, and we are now at the moment of high stillness. The tide has reached its peak and is pausing for a single, glorious hour before it begins its long retreat. In this hour, the ocean is perfectly balanced. There is no pull and no push. The water is a single, unmoving entity. This is the hour of the great rejuvenation. Without the movement of the tides, the world feels as though it has stopped spinning. You are caught in a pocket of time where soon and later have no meaning. There is only a now. Use this stillness to scan your body from your toes to the top of your head. Feel each part of you becoming as still as the high tide. Your feet are still. Your legs are heavy and unmoving. Your hands are open and relaxed. Your jaw is loose. Your eyes are resting in their sockets. You are a perfect mirror of the ocean's balance. The clock of the tides has stopped, and in this pause, you find the doorway to the deepest sleep you have ever known. Enter that doorway now. The tide is waiting. The night is waiting. The peace is yours. As the boat glides forward, look behind at the path we have taken. The water stirred by the rudder is glowing with an intense, neon phosphorus. It is a wake of light, a trail of cold fire that stretches back to the horizon. It looks as though we are sailing through a sea of liquid emeralds. Each swirl of the water ignites millions of tiny organisms, creating a dance of light that is entirely silent. This light is a biological miracle, a reminder that the darkness is never truly empty. It is full of life, full of energy, and full of beauty. You watch the patterns of the light, the spirals, the streaks, the fading embers of blue. It is more hypnotic than any flame. Your mind follows the trail back, until it disappears into the darkness. This is the path of your day, fading into the past, leaving only a glow of memory. You don't need to go back there. You only need to move forward into the dark. The phosphorus light is your guide, showing you that the way ahead is beautiful, even if it is unknown. Let the glowing wake pull your gaze into a soft, unfocused state until the light and the dark become one. Listen to the sound of the heavy canvas sail as it luffs gently in the dying breeze. It is a soft, rhythmic whump hush, the sound of a giant wing folding and unfolding. The canvas is thick and weathered, smelling of sun and salt. It is a sturdy sound, a sound of protection. It creates a private ceiling between you and the infinite stars, making the boat feel like a small, cozy room in the middle of the void. The fabric vibrates slightly with the movement of the air, a low-frequency hum that you can feel through the mast. This vibration is a physical sedative. It reaches into your nervous system and tells it to shut down, to rest, and to heal. You are tucked away beneath this great white wing, safe from the vastness of the sky. The whump hush is the only clock you need. It is the heartbeat of the boat. With every beat, you feel yourself drifting further away from the shore of reality. The canvas is a shield, the boat is a cradle, and the ocean is a mother. Everything is in its place. Everything is quiet. Sleep is the only thing left to do. A new mist is rising, but it is not grey, it is silver mist, illuminated from within by the setting moon. It clings to the surface of the water in long, flowing ribbons that look like silk. As the boat moves through these ribbons, they wrap around the hull, dampening the sound of the waves until the world is perfectly silent. The mist is cool and damp, a refreshing contrast to the warmth of the cabin. It carries the scent of pure, high-altitude air, washed clean by the Pacific. In this silver world, you lose all sense of perspective. The boat feels as though it is floating in a cloud, disconnected from the earth and the sea. You are a spirit in a world of ghosts. This loss of grounding is the final stage of relaxation. You are no longer held by gravity, you are held by the mist. You are a feather in the wind, a drop of water in the cloud. The silver light is a soft, glowing doorway. You are stepping through it now, leaving behind the solid world and entering the fluid, shimmering world of dreams. The mist is closing in. The light is fading. The silence is absolute. Sleep, sleep, sleep. In the deepest part of the night, there is a presence known to sailors as the ghost of the deep. It is not a spirit, but a phenomenon of the air and the water, a moment where the wind and the currents perfectly cancel each other out. For a few minutes, the boat becomes a static point in the universe. The water is as flat as a mirror, and the air is as still as a stone. This is the absolute zeros of the Pacific. In this moment, you can hear the silence. It has a high-pitched, ringing quality, the sound of the Earth's own electromagnetic field. It is the most profound quiet a human can ever experience. Within this quiet, your internal monologue finally stops. There is no one to talk to, and nothing to say. You are a silent witness to the majesty of the void. This 0 point is the ultimate reset for your mind. It clears away the static of your life, leaving only a clean, dark space. You are a hollow vessel, ready to be filled with the dreams of the ocean. The ghost of the deep is a blessing. It is the moment where you are finally, truly alone with the universe, and you find that the universe is a friend. As the boat begins to move again, the song of the rigging returns, but it has changed its key. The ropes and wires are humming a low, minor chord, a mournful yet beautiful melody that speaks of the infinite distance we have traveled. Each rope has a different thickness and a different tension, creating a complex, layered sound like an Aeolian harp. This is the voice of the boat soul. It tells of the storms it has weathered and the calms it has endured. You find yourself following one particular note, a deep, resonant bass line that comes from the main mast. You follow it down into the heart of the wood, and then deeper into the water. The sound becomes a physical vibration, a rhythmic pulsing in your ears. It is the sound of going home. Even though we are in the middle of the ocean, the song of the rigging makes you feel as though you have already arrived. You are home in the movement. You are home in the sound. You are home in the night. The melody is a thread of silver pulling you toward the morning, but the journey is so slow and so beautiful that you hope it never ends. We are now crossing over a section of the ocean where the water is 5 miles deep. This is the sapphire void. The blue of the water is so intense it is almost black, a color that seems to swallow all light and all sound. It is the color of the deep subconscious, the place where our oldest and most peaceful memories reside. Imagine your mind as a small, glowing light, slowly descending into this sapphire void. With every foot you sink, the noise of the world grows fainter. 100 feet, the light of the moon disappears. 1,000 feet, the temperature becomes a perfect, constant cool. 5,000 feet, the silence becomes absolute. You are sinking into the very heart of the planet. There is no pressure here, only a sense of being completely surrounded by peace. The sapphire light is a liquid embrace, a cocoon of comfort that protects you from the world above. You are a part of the void now. You are deep, dark, and still. The journey to the bottom is a journey to the center of yourself. You are almost there. You are almost asleep. Listen to the breathing of the hull, the way the wooden planks expand and contract with the pressure of the swells. It is a slow, rhythmic creaking followed by a soft, satisfied sigh. The boat is a living organism, a creature made of forest and sea. It knows how to take care of you. It has been built to withstand the weight of the Pacific, and it does so with a graceful, easy strength. You feel the vibration of this strength through your pillow. It is a solid, grounding energy. The boat is your mother, your house, and your world. Within its wooden ribs, you are as safe as a child in a cradle. The sounds are repetitive and predictable, like the ticking of a grandfather clock in a quiet hallway. They provide a structure for the silence, a rhythm for the night. You find yourself anticipating the next creak, the next sigh, and as you do, your mind enters a state of relaxed focus. This is the final stage before the lights go out. You are in the boat is in the water, and the water is in the night. Everything is contained. Everything is safe. A soft, warm rain begins to fall, the midnight rain that often visits the equatorial Pacific. It is a gentle, vertical rain, falling straight down into the unmoving sea. Each drop makes a tiny, silver plinth as it meets the salt water. The sound is like a million tiny bells ringing at once, a delicate, shimmering music that fills the air. The rain brings a new scent, the smell of the high atmosphere of clouds that have traveled across the entire world to find you. It is the scent of purity. As the rain falls on the deck, it washes away the last of the salt and the dust, leaving everything gleaming and fresh. You feel the coolness of the raindrops on your face, a soft, liquid blessing. The rain is a curtain separating you even further from the rest of the world. You are in a room of falling water, a private sanctuary in the middle of the ocean. The sound is a continuous, white noise that drowns out the last of your thoughts. You are drifting in the rain, a drop of water in a world of water, falling slowly into the deep. The moon is setting now, and the final horizon is appearing in the west. It is a line of deep, bruised purple, where the night meets the end of the world. As the light fades, the stars become even brighter, a final explosion of celestial fire before the dawn. But you are not looking at the stars anymore. Your eyes are closed, and you are looking inward, at the vast, calm ocean of your own mind. The horizon of your consciousness has expanded to include the entire universe. You are no longer a person in a boat, you are the boat, you are the ocean, and you are the night. That final horizon is the place where the self dissolves into the infinite. It is a place of absolute peace, absolute silence, and absolute rest. You have reached the end of the journey. The Pacific has delivered you to the shores of sleep. The water is still. The air is quiet. The journey is over. Sleep now. Sleep. Sleep. As the moon disappears, the ocean begins to glow from within. This is the luminescent drift, a phenomenon where the entire surface of the sea becomes a soft, pulsing field of light. It is a cold, emerald glow that seems to come from the very molecules of the water. As the boat moves through this liquid light, it leaves a trail of brilliant, glowing ripples that look like molten silver. You are sailing through a dream. The light is so soft it doesn't disturb your rest, it enhances it. It is the light of the subconscious, a gentle reminder that even in the deepest darkness, there is beauty. You watch the way the light pulses, brightening with every swell, dimming with every trough. It is the breathing of the sea made visible. Your mind follows this pulse, your thoughts brightening and dimming, until they finally fade away into the emerald dark. You are drifting in the glow, a part of the light, a part of the sea, a part of the night. With the moon gone, the stars are the only rulers of the sky. This is the silence of the stars. In the middle of the Pacific, the air is so thin and so clear that the stars don't just twinkle, they burn with a steady, unwavering light. You can see the great rift of the Milky Way, a river of stardust that mirrors the current beneath your boat. The silence of the stars is a heavy, ancient quiet. It is the silence of billions of years and billions of miles. It is a silence that makes all human concern seem like tiny, fading sparks. You feel the weight of this silence pressing down on you, a comfortable, cosmic blanket. You are small, but you are part of the whole. You are a stardust creature resting on a water planet. This perspective is the ultimate relief. You don't have to be anything. You don't have to do anything. You are just a point of light in a field of light. The stars are watching over you, and their silence is a lullaby that has no end. Let the stars take your thoughts and carry them away into the infinite dark. Deep, deep below, 5 miles down in the dark, the echo of the abyss is rising. It is not a sound, but a feeling of immense, solid stillness. In the trenches of the Pacific, there is no weather, no seasons, and no time. There is only the eternal, heavy peace of the deep. You can feel this stillness rising through the layers of the water, a pillar of silence that supports your boat. It is a feeling of incredible security. You are floating on a foundation of absolute quiet. Nothing can disturb the peace of the abyss, and therefore, nothing can disturb your rest. You are connected to the very bottom of the world. Imagine your worries as small stones, falling through the water, down, 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 until they reach the soft, silent silt of the abyss. They are gone now, buried in the silence of millions of years. You are light, unburdened, and free. You are floating on the surface of eternity, and eternity is a very quiet place to be. Sleep now, held by the echo of the deep. The ocean has a rhythm that is older than the earth itself. It is the ancient rhythm of the great Pacific swells. These waves have traveled 10,000 miles to find you. They are long, slow, and majestic. As they pass beneath the boat, you feel a slow, graceful rise and a slow, graceful fall. It is the movement of a giant heart. This rhythm is the most powerful sedative in the world. It bypasses your brain and speaks directly to your blood. Your heart begins to beat in sync with the ocean. Your breath begins to flow in sync with the waves. You are no longer an individual, you are a part of the movement of the planet. There is no resistance, no friction, and no effort. You are simply being moved. The rise and the fall, the rise and the fall, it is a perfect, never-ending cycle of rest. You are a child in the cradle of the world, and the world is rocking you to sleep with the same rhythm it has used for 4 billion years. Trust the rhythm. Let it take you. Let it carry you away. The night is now at its darkest point, the velvet dark that comes just before the first hint of dawn. This darkness is thick, soft, and warm. It feels like a physical substance, a heavy cloth of obsidian silk that has been draped over the world. It fills every corner of the boat, every corner of your mind, and every corner of the sky. In this darkness, the boundaries of your body disappear. You don't know where you end and the night begins. You are the darkness. You are the silence. You are the peace. This is the state of total sensory deprivation, the ultimate sanctuary. There is nothing to see, nothing to hear, and nothing to do. You are a soul in a void, and the void is a place of perfect love and perfect rest. The velvet dark is a gift from the universe, a chance to disappear for a while, to forget who you are and to simply be. Wrap the darkness around you like a cloak. Let it heavy your limbs. Let it quiet your heart. You are safe in the dark. You are home. The water has become so still that it is now the mirror of the mind. Every star is reflected in the surface with such clarity that the boat seems to be floating in a sphere of light. When you look over the side, you are not looking down, you are looking into the infinite. This reflection is a mirror of your internal state. You have reached the point of total equilibrium. Your thoughts are as still as the water. Your spirit is as clear as the air. There is no ripple of worry, no wave of anxiety, and no storm of thought. You are a perfect, unmoving reflection of the universe. This is the moment of the great stillness. In this moment, you are finally free from the prison of time. There is no past and no future. There is only the reflection. You are the star and the water. You are the light and the dark. You are the silence and the sound. You are everything, and you are nothing. The mirror is open, and you are stepping through it into the world of dreams. Sleep is the mirror, and you are the reflection. As the first hint of grey light touches the eastern horizon, the silver breath of the morning begins to stir. It is not a wind, but a change in the air, a cooling, a softening, a promise. This silver breath carries the scent of the high clouds and the deep sea, a clean, sharp aroma that feels like a blessing. It brushes against your cheek, a final goodbye from the night. You feel a deep, settled sense of accomplishment. You have crossed the Pacific. You have survived the dark. You have found the silence. The silver breath is a gentle hand, tucking you in for the final hour of your rest. It is the hour of the deepest, most restorative sleep. The world is waking up, but you are sinking down. The light is growing, but your darkness is deepening. You are perfectly out of sync with the world of action and perfectly in sync with the world of rest. The silver breath is a lullaby, a whisper in the rigging, a sigh in the sails. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Think of the wood of the boat once more. It was once an ancient forest, a place of deep shadows, mossy earth, and towering trees. The spirit of that forest is still within the timber. As you lie on the deck, you are resting on the strength of 1,000 years of growth. You can feel the grounding energy of the trees, even here in the middle of the ocean. The forest and the sea have joined together to protect you. The wood is your shield, the water is your path, and the stars are your guide. You are surrounded by the wisdom of nature. You are a part of the great cycle of life, death, and rebirth. The boat is a living bridge between the earth and the water. As you drift, you feel the roots of the forest reaching down through the boat and into the sea, anchoring you to the heart of the planet. You are stable. You are secure. You are at peace. The forest is quiet, and the sea is still. You are the center of the world's rest. You are now beginning the final descent. This is the last mile of the journey, the final few steps into the heart of the dream. Imagine yourself standing at the top of a long, soft staircase made of clouds. With every breath, you take a step down. 1. Your body feels heavier. 2. The sounds of the boat fade away. 3. Your mind becomes a quiet, dark room. 4. You feel a sense of immense joy and peace. 5. The world of reality disappears. 6. You are floating in a void of light. 7. You are entering the sapphire deep. 8. The darkness is complete. 9. You are almost there. 10. You are at the bottom. You have arrived. The journey is over. The Pacific has delivered you. The night has claimed you. The dream has begun. You are no longer a traveler, you are the destination. You are the peace you have been seeking. You are the sleep you have been craving. You are home. You are home. You are home. And now there is only the eternal Pacific, the ocean that has no beginning and no end. The ocean that is the mother of all life and the keeper of all secrets. You are a drop of water in this ocean, perfectly integrated, perfectly at peace. The boat is gone, the stars are gone, and the self is gone. There is only the rhythmic, eternal movement of the deep. The rise and the fall, the rise and the fall, the great heartbeat of the world. You will sleep now for as long as the ocean exists. You will dream the dreams of the whales and the songs of the stars. You are protected by the weight of the water and the silence of the abyss. The morning will come, but not for you. Your morning is 1,000 years away. For now, there is only the blue, the dark, and the still. You have crossed the Pacific, and you have found the center of the universe. It is a very quiet place. It is a very beautiful place. It is your place. Sleep now. Sleep. Sleep. Sleep.